Okay, so I've put unknown 1 in test tube 1, unknown 2 in test tube 2, unknown 3 in test tube 3, unknown 4 in test tube 4, and unknown 5 in test tube 5. And we're going to perform the first test. So I'm going to add hydrochloric acid to each test tube. So test tube 1. So I'm going to record for unknown 1 with hydrochloric acid, there was no reaction, NR. For test tube 2, it bubbled, so I'm going to record bubbles. Test tube 3, nothing happened when I added the hydrochloric acid, so I'm going to also record no reaction. Test tube 4, again, no reaction. Test tube 5, again, no reaction. So the first test we did, hydrochloric acid reacted with unknown 2. So now I'm going to test unknown 1, unknown 3, unknown 4, and unknown 5, and not unknown 2 because I know that one contains carbonate. So the second test, I'm going to add lead nitrate to each test tube. And the substance that forms a yellow precipitate will contain iodide ions. Well, test tube 1 turned yellow, so I'm going to record yellow precipitate or yellow PPT. Test tube 2 formed a white precipitate, so I'm going to record white PPT. I'm sorry, not test tube 2, unknown 3, because we skipped unknown 2. Unknown 4 also formed a white precipitate, so I'm going to record white PPT. And test tube 5 also formed a white precipitate, so I'm going to also record white PPT. So unknown 1 must contain the iodide ions because we are looking for that yellow color. And so what is a precipitate? A precipitate is a solid that forms, it precipitates out of solution. So you can kind of see the specks of solid there. And obviously you could see the white color. This formed a white precipitate, and you could see the white solid at the bottom of the test tube. So that is the solid that precipitated out of solution during this reaction. Okay, so now we're going to test unknown 3, 4, and 5. And this time I'm going to add iron chloride or iron nitrate to each test tube. So when I add it to test tube 3, or unknown 3, I mean, yes, it's kind of a tan color, but iron 3 nitrate is tan. So I'm going to put no reaction because nothing really happened there. Test tube 4, ooh, this formed a brown precipitate. And you could see the brown, the rust color precipitate at the bottom. So I'm going to record brown PPT for unknown 4. And unknown 5, again, really no reaction. So I'm just going to record NR for test tube 5. So unknown 4 contains contains the anion that we were looking for, which is hydroxide. So test tube 4 contains hydroxide. Okay, and the last test. I'm going to add barium nitrate to unknown 3 and unknown 5. Unknown 3, there was no reaction, so I'm going to put NR. Unknown 5, I formed a white precipitate, so I am going to record white PPT for unknown 5. And unknown 3 did not react, so unknown 3 must contain chloride ions, and unknown 5 must contain sulfate ions.